All right, so now we're just gonna segue into news from back home, back in Liberia. As most of you know, I am Liberian, and so we're just gonna take a look at what's going on in the world of everything back home. It's crazy, but for those of you, you can choose to let me know if this is something that you're excited about or opposed. So. In July, the executive mansion announced that President Joseph Boakai held a virtual discussion with Elon Musk, one of the world's wealthiest businessmen. The news sparked mixed reaction. Now, less than 2 months later, one of the key topics for that discussion is taking shape. On Wednesday, the Liberian Telecommunication Authority, LTA, revealed that Starlink, the satellite internet provider owned by Musk SpaceX, expressed interest in operating in Liberia. The global internet provider is seeking a 1-year provisional license to provide internet service throughout Liberia, introducing healthy competition to our telecommunication landscape. The LTA stated. A full LTA Board of Commissioners held a productive meeting with Starlink today, reviewing the draft and license. It will be forwarded to their council for review and final input. Signing and rolling out Starlink service will begin once the final documents are signed. The global internet provider is seeking a 1-year provisional license to provide internet access throughout Liberia, providing, I already read that, my apologies. Liberia Telecommunication Authority's Starlink satellite-based internet service leveraged low Earth orbit satellites to deliver high-speed internet to areas with limited or no connectivity. Its potential to provide reliable internet access in rural and remote areas could transform education, healthcare, and economic opportunity in unserved communities. Starlink is already operating in several African countries, including Nigeria, Rwanda, Mozambique, and Kenya. My apologies. Why Starlink? Despite a moderate increase in internet usage in Liberia, more than half of the population remains without access. Liberia internet penetration stands at just 33.68% of the populations of 5.2 million, according to data from Data Reportal. Many believe that Starlink entry could significantly boost connectivity, especially in rural areas. One way to test Starlink visibility and performance in Liberia is through the pilot project that target a critical sector, education, by introducing Starlink in schools across the country. The government can evaluate its impact, reliability, and capacity to bridge the digital divide. This strategy follows the example of Rwanda, a leader in technology and technological innovation within Africa, which launched a similar pilot project to test Starlink's capability before rolling it out on a wider scale. Dr. Warren Wilkins, Chief Information Officer, Office of Information Technology at the University of Liberia, that's where we're going to be quoting the source from, and from the University of Liberia, and I actually quote this from Front Page Africa. I quoted that from Front Page Africa. And so something that kind of, some of you are wondering, okay, if this is a good thing for us. A lot of people have been saying in the comments, I will put that up as well, like why internet? Why not electricity before internet? How can you provide that and not give us the other? And I think that really dives down into our own leadership. I think something that's going to really have to work for Liberians or be implemented for Liberians is a way for us to try to build something on our own, or if we can't do it on our own, we have to partner with someone. And I'm not saying partnering with Starlink is the best solution, but they seem like they have made strides before in those other countries like Nigeria, Rwanda, and whatnot. However, my own personal biased opinion, I personally don't like Elon Musk just because he's a racist. And like recently within like the U.S., just how he speaks on unfactual things like the Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs, they're eating cats and dogs, and just how he just his ideology and who he follows. Donald Trump, who is trying to be president again for the United States. Hopefully he does not win Kamala 2024. But even with that, like, it makes me wonder, like, there's not so much data that he can, not so much he can do right now, but at the same time, later on, there's so much he can do with it, like how we're going to be able to receive information, how, if we're going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? If we're going to be censored, certain things are going to be censored. Are we going to be having free speech, able to expressively be able to express ourselves with our dislike of certain things that he do or his company or any other thing? Like, how will that impact the Liberians? Are they going to collect our data and use it for their own personal gain? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people come into Africa, and I'm just going to speak on Liberia, and they continue to take from us, and we don't really benefit. And I see that we're trying to be developed and get and catch up with everybody else that's developing in Africa and like the rest of the world, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience, and it's going to take people out there who genuinely want to work in Liberia. Like, all the people in Liberia, y'all need to work. Get up off your butts. And I'm not saying this is for everyone, and I think it's easier for me to say in America, but it's not. My parents immigrated to the United States. I was about 3 years old, so in a way I can't really speak on the hardships of other people, but I can speak on the hardship of my parents. For 10 to 15 years, not even then, it wasn't until I entered high school that my mom, my mom wasn't even able to get her house until after I graduated high school. And I graduated high school in 2014. I believe my mom bought her house in either 2019 or 2018. And we came to the United States when I was about 3 years old. I am 29 years old now. Both my parents worked their butt off. One, assimilate into a whole new country. I'm not going to say the language barrier, but because my mother had a little thicker of an accent than my father, just assimilating for my mom was hard and working. Like, she was reduced to doing certain jobs. Like, both of my parents work in the medical field, but they started off like in the nursing, like CNA position, LPN, and things like that. Definition of clean poo-poo. They over here clean people poo-poo. But you know what? My mom showed no shame in that. She did what she did. She had people talk down on her, say really bad, degrading things about her. And, you know, she hustled. She did what she needed to. She bought her house. She's a homeowner. She has her businesses back home. She has a foundation, Satara Children Foundation. Sataria Smile Children Foundation. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, and I helped her pick the name. I will link it down here, but she does a lot of pro bono philanthropy work. She sends things back home. She helps her family. She does a lot. So imagine, what I'm trying to say is, it takes a lot to leave a country and work and provide for yourself. And for you to be back home, it's easier said than done, like I said. But I feel like there's no law and there's no structure there. There's law, but there's really not any structure there for a lot of things to be done. Like, we're allowing a lot of people, outsiders like China, Indians, the US to come in and take from our land, and we're not really creating jobs. Like, I know recently that there was a $60 or $80 million bill signed with China and Liberia to start their infrastructure to like help with roads. But honestly, I just think they're using it to dig up minerals. There's been a lot of videos and evidence proving like a lot of the Chinese are coming in and digging up minerals and people's land, and like saying that they don't know who did it. Like, you guys are the only one with the big trucks and the big tractors and whatnot back there. It's not Liberians doing it, it's the Chinese coming in and doing it. And unfortunately, our president and the government continues to allow. I'm not going to speak badly on him and say all these things because I need to look up more stuff on his policy, but I don't know if I agree with a lot of these things. I think there's a lot that could be done that without money, of course, without resources, without proper education and training, a lot of things is going to be unorganized. And who's going to pull us out of the despair? Is it going to be us, or are we going to rely on foreigners who aren't really looking out for our best interests? And I say we because I am a Liberian. I'm someone who wants to go back home and invest in my country, invest in my people. But if I don't see the benefit, I don't see the hustle and the yearning, why would I want to invest money? Like, money don't grow on a tree in America. I work 12 hours a day, okay? And I have a 7-year-old son. I work 12 hours a day working to make a living in this country. It's really hard. And what I'm making to cover my rent and pay my bills doesn't really leave me much up with a little bit of savings. And like, I'm blessed to have a side business and do hair that can make up for it, but it's still hard. It really is. And so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this could be a benefit to Liberians and hopefully open up a sector for us to getting more stuff done in education, like they stated in the articles, that a lot of these things are going to help benefit educational and healthcare. But again, how can you implement internet without electricity? I think that's something that should have been done first. So what do you guys think? I'm gonna finish reading this up, just so you can know the cost and the projection of this. It states from my, I'm going to cite my source from Carnegie Mellon University. In the report, A4A1 and the ITU, International Telecommunication Union, projected that Liberia will need approximately $432 million to increase coverage from 19% of the population today to 90% by 2030. This means Liberia will have to invest roughly $36 million each year. Each year to meet infrastructure needs, enable policy and regulation and regulatory framework, and ensure basic digital skills and local content. Where are we getting $36 million a year? Are you paying for it? Joseph Boyka, are you paying for it? I'm sorry, Mr. President. Are the Liberian people for it? How are we paying for it? Who are we taking a loan from? Because ultimately we're gonna have to take a loan out. So we're gonna continue to sell more of Liberia. It's at this point is the biggest bidder. Who wants to put their bid in and continue to take from us? I don't know. You let me know.
Harmonizing. Okay, so Dema buku in your pocket, you bunny hole. I know you won't spend it on me, buy me anything. Call me Manco, nah. My eye not closed, it can shine. Your Jew now you get. You got on big, don't got flat. Your nut back heavy. I want carry belly. Only for you, my sweet, sweet bougie boo. Baby, now.